So about 7 years ago, I competed in the figure category, and I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I worked with a coach, and I felt that I was under eating and really overdoing the cardio. He took my carbs and calories down way too low too early, and I actually hated bodybuilding after that. It took me years to develop a love for it again. And so maybe in June, well, when was it? In June of 2020, I decided I wanted a challenge. I wanted something that kept me disciplined, and I knew that that bodybuilding was just that for me. And this time I made sure I did my research before working with any coaches or anything. I wanted to make sure that they knew what they were doing and had also competed themselves. So yeah, no, I got into it for the discipline. I got into it to keep me focused and cut. My first show since I did figure 7 years ago was in November, and that's where I qualified for nationals, and I fell in love with it all over again. I stick with it because I felt that through cutting out foods and drinks that weren't serving me, I felt I was truly happier. I do much better when I'm working towards something, and it really makes you, it forces you to appreciate all the little things in life versus, you know, alcohol and foods that really is just pleasure. It's not true happiness. I usually, in the last month or so, I really hone in on it, and I really just get it dialed in, but I do it typically once a week right now, but so not a lot.
And how long do you usually do it for, like 15 minutes?
Yeah, and honestly, when it hits the 4-week mark, I usually do 15 minutes a day. It doesn't, it's not intense. It's just consistently showing up. So just making sure that I have it in my muscle memory to hit the poses, because once I get on stage, you know, your mind sometimes will go. So you rely on your muscle memory and just making sure that you have it instilled so that you don't have to think about it. And what's super hard about it is trying to make it look like you're not flexing. You want to make it look really relaxed. And that's really I have a tendency to pull my shoulders up because I'm super intense and I need to practice just relaxing.
So that's the hardest part for you with it?
Yeah, it's just making it look easy when it's not. And even just pulling in the abdomen, it's super easy to just relax and let that go. So there are vacuums which will help with breathing correctly, so that you're not using your abdomen, so that you can maintain that small waist that the judges are looking for. And with posing, it's super crucial. You can have the best shape, but if you don't know how to showcase it on stage, someone who doesn't even have the body that you have will take the win. It's all about knowing how to present your body to the judges, and that looks a little bit different for everyone. So that's why I probably will work with a posing coach, just to make sure that my poses, that they are individualized to my body. And I'm not being as sassy as I'll be on stage. So also with posing, I will use a mirror, but it's really important that we take the mirror away so that you don't rely on it to hit the poses. So sometimes I will prop my phone up and just record myself and not use a mirror, because obviously when you get on stage you don't have that mirror, and you have to know how to hit the poses without relying on the mirror, because when you're on stage you don't have the mirror and you just have to be able to feel it, if that makes sense. So this is good that we're practicing in this room without a mirror. So I get asked a lot, what is the hardest part about bodybuilding? And I would say that remaining consistent is the biggest challenge. You don't always have to be intense. Some days, you know, I go into the gym and I struggle just like everyone else. It takes a lot of discipline, and you know, sometimes I really have to listen to myself. Sometimes that means I have a day off, or sometimes that means, you know, I need to change my mindset. But staying consistent, being prepared, measuring your food, and just showing up every single day, that is the hardest part. And if you can manage to do a little bit each day, it's gonna add up to big results. And personally, why I love bodybuilding is that it makes me have to dig deep and really figure out who I am without experiencing pleasure, finding true happiness. I think a lot of Americans find their happiness in outside sources like food and alcohol, and this really forces me to get my happiness from things that truly matter. It keeps me in line, and I feel like when I'm working towards a goal and I'm trying to better myself in the gym, it carries over into all of the other facets of my life. The journey to get from point A to point B, being the stage, is so empowering. Just knowing, you know, all the sacrifices that you have to make. People that love challenges are going to be drawn to bodybuilding, because really that's all it is. You're proving to yourself that you're strong enough. And I mean, why do you think people run marathons? And you know, it's the same thing with bodybuilding. It's the journey. It's not about what you look like on stage. It's about who you've become up until the stage. You know, the person that I have become from this sport is what I'm going to take from it, not the stage pictures. I mean, my body sure as hell is not gonna stay like this. You know, it's not gonna be that cut. And so really you just take the lessons from it. Just like anything else, you learn the discipline, you learn, it's just empowering.